Hi, everybody. A little bit of a political update today. Generally, in the Canadian political landscape, it's always the Conservatives against the Liberals, and the NDP never really has much to say because the leader is Jagmeet Singh, and we don't really take on board seriously anything he says. But lo and behold, today, from out of nowhere, I see this on CPAC. This lady, NDP MP Niki Ashton, she's from Churchill, Kiwatanook Aski in Manitoba, and she really gave gave it to Mark Carney. She really called him out. And I'm taping this right now. It is Wednesday at 4:36 p.m. Pacific time, and I really want to know what the news is going to say about this. How the news is going to cover this. Basically, I want to just brief you a little bit on Mark Carney on the scuttlebutt about Brookfield. Okay, so this is something I wrote earlier. Mark Carney, former central banker and Liberal leadership candidate, moved the head of moved the head office of investment firm Brookfield Asset Management from Toronto to New York. Carney said this move happened after he ceased to be on the board and that he's all in for Canada and all in for this leadership, all in during this time of crisis to build our great country. However, there is a letter from Carney to shareholders dated December 1st. The letter shows Carney personally voted for and recommended that Brookfield move from Canada to New York City. In light of the tariffs, this don't look good. As much as you squawk about wanting to keep Canadian jobs and you go and move something like that to New York. But this is Niki Ashton. I haven't seen this whole thing. I'm going to watch it with you as I like to do. Let's hear what she had to say. I did watch a bit of the beginning, and in the first 3 minutes, all she did was totally rag on Trump. It was a lot of Trump TDS. So actually, come to think of it, I don't think I'm going to play that bit. I'm going to skip ahead to where she starts calling out Mark Carney.
Which brings me to Mark Carney and Brookfield Asset Management, the person who has been touted as having the solutions to our economic challenges. And yet Mark Carney is very much the poster person for the broken system, the hollowing out of Canada that has made us so vulnerable today. Mark Carney has a clear track record of pushing for wealth accumulation for the rich at the expense of workers and Canadian communities. A 2023 report from the Centre for International Corporate Tax Accountability and Research called Brookfield Canada's top tax dodger. In 2021, Brookfield Asset Management dodged a jaw-dropping $6.5 billion all on its own, according to Canadians for Tax Fairness. In 2021 alone, Canada lost $30 billion in corporate tax revenue to offshore havens. This means that 1 in 5 of all the tax dollars corporations diverted from the Canadian public came from Brookfield alone. This is obscene, and Canadians are paying the price. Today, we in the NDP are calling on Mark Carney to come clean about his role in Brookfield's exploitative practices. Did he help Brookfield dodge taxes? Canadians deserve to know. We must be clear, there is a real cost to corporate tax avoidance. With the tax dollars Brookfield hid in offshore accounts in Bermuda, we could have invested in healthcare, affordable housing, and desperately needed infrastructure on First Nations. Today, we are calling for tax fairness to strengthen our sovereignty and our fight against the American administration, bold action that will begin to reverse the hollowing out of our economy and the inequality and vulnerability many Canadian workers face because of that hollowing out. This also means taking on Trump's American billionaire buddies and their companies who work here in Canada without paying their fair share of taxes, if they pay them at all. Elon Musk, Amazon, Walmart, Uber, Airbnb, often making it easy for them to compete unfairly with Canadian companies, even putting those companies out of business. These tech bros and their fellow billionaires are taking advantage of Canada's lax tax code to extract massive wealth from Canadian.
What were the companies that she was talking about? Airbnb? Let me just rewind that part. Sorry.
Paying their fair share of taxes, if they pay them at all. Elon Musk, Amazon, Walmart, Uber, Airbnb, often making it easy for them to compete unfairly with Canadian companies, even putting those companies out of business. These tech bros.
Yes, that is true. That is true. We all know because of the transfer of wealth that happened during COVID. Amazon survived huge. Walmart, yes. Costco, yes. Big business, yes. Mom and pop business, no.
And their fellow billionaires are taking advantage of Canada's lax tax code to extract massive wealth from Canadian workers and our country. And they're now cheerleading debilitating tariffs on us all. Enough is enough. Today's unfair tax system has weakened our strength as a country and is rendering us more vulnerable in times like these.
Okay. Very good. I mean, I don't obviously agree with everything she says, but she referred to Mark Carney and what he did as being obscene. And that is that's a pretty scathing criticism, as is deserved. Now, this guy, is he just going to get plonked in on March 9th? He comes from nowhere. Like, how do you're not a politician. You give some lame speeches. You're very uncomfortable when taking questions from the press. You say stupid things time and time again, like, I'm the guy you call in a crisis. No, you're not. I don't think I'd even let you babysit my cats looking at you. You're crooked, you're shady, you're shifty. I ran into a liberal today, a Justin Trudeau supporter, and he was an older man, and he was like, oh, I don't like that Carney. I don't like the Carney. And even he doesn't like him. So, yeah, I think, the rumblings are that we're going to have an election April 23rd, that the Liberal Party is renting out spaces to have their offices. They're sort of saying that that's when we might go to the polls. That would be very exciting. One thing I was thinking is, this is probably a stupid idea, but I was thinking, if Carney just gets plonked in there and they just put him in there, then I kind of thought, well, maybe he's not going to call an election. The writ won't be dropped, or nothing will happen until October, late October, the original date of the Canadian election. I was kind of thinking, why would he call an election? Why would he want to Why would he want to do that when it's a pretty sure thing that he's going to lose? If most people will vote Conservative. But it's hard to say, but that would be awesome if an election happened in April. That would just be wonderful. And then actually we have some leadership, right? And even Trump is like, I talked to Trudeau, what's going on up there in Canada? When is your election? He put this tweet out, or this Truth Social post. So it's just so funny. It's like we are scrambling around. We look foolish, right? Trump's got a point about that. Okay, I'll leave you with this video because she's done this. You'll see this. She's a, what do you call, a social media? What do you call those people? Influencers. And she's her name is Tiana Truthseeker, and she did this great little report on Mark Carney. So I think I'll play that for you so we can enjoy it all together. She called the video, "Who is the real Mark Carney?" She did the research, so well done. Let's watch.
Mark Carney, the self-proclaimed outsider and the self-proclaimed best choice for the Liberal leader of Canada after Justin Trudeau resigns. And if you're wondering why he's been filmed or had pictures taken with Ghislaine Maxwell, according to the Toronto Sun, it's because his wife's sister went to the same high school as Ghislaine Maxwell. Totally believable for someone who's gone to the Bilderberg meetings. Anyway, what Mark Carney is basically an economic grim reaper. He is BlackRock's trustee for bankruptcy. His entire job is to go into countries, absolutely economically destroy them, and then have investment banks buy out all of the resources and labor while taking away your freedoms and rights under the Green New Deal. That was literally his idea. So let me just show you some of the things I found about Mark Carney, the outsider that everybody talks about. In 2008 crisis in Canada, what Mark Carney did is he loaded us up with so much debt that the moment the economy turned, the working class, and Canada is now 75% working class, paid for it through interest rates so high they crippled and broke every middle class family with a mortgage. And then he moved to England and did the exact same to the English. And his name there is actually Mark Carnage. Even the former Liberal Party president, Stephen Ledrew, says that Carney is a wickedly dangerous man hoping to curtail individual freedom in order to achieve his view of what the world needs. He makes the WEF, the World Economic Forum, look like libertarians. He's also leading a campaign for a green digital cryptocurrency to replace the US dollar, because that's totally normal. He's such an outsider that he's basically a member of the group of 30. I mean, you might as well just be a part of the committee of 300, and also the World Economic Forum, and he's attended Bilderberg meetings. He also wrote, if some companies and industries fail to adapt to this new anti-carbon world, they will fail to exist. So he's basically telling you that you have no choice. Not really surprising, considering he wrote a book called Values, Building a Better World for All, and where he says Western society is morally rotten and also requires rigid controls on personal freedoms. And I also came to find out that he's been advising Justin Trudeau in the background in 2020, and he is the reason why Canadians had their bank accounts frozen during the trucker protests. Let me show you. Mark Carney said this about the convoy. Those who are still helping to extend this.
If you pause this and then read it, I'll link this in the comments. It's an interesting read. It's not positive for Carney.
Occupation must be identified and punished to full force of the law. Drawing the line means choking off the money that financed this occupation. And he's not referring to financial organizations or companies disobeying his green rules, but the citizens who have the right to protest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's also interesting is if you look into him, every job that he had, he was appointed to. There were multiple people in line for his job with a lot more experience than Mark Carney, and somehow he just got in. So the guy is literally Justin Trudeau's handler. And because Justin Trudeau screwed up so much, he's now there to kind of finish Canada off. So if you guys really want to know who Mark Carney is, there you go. The outsider Mark Carney, aka the Grim Reaper for the economic destruction of Canada, and also the guy who's going to absolutely curtail and take away your freedoms in the name of the green environment initiatives.
Oh, wow. She's like, she doesn't mince. She's more direct than me. Well, I really enjoyed that. Thank you to Tajana Truthseeker. If that's what her name is. I think she's fantastic. Anyway, that's my video update for today. Please like the video if you liked it. There's your little lesson about Mark Carney. You can share it with your grandma and your aunties who think he's cool. He's the new guy. I don't know. We don't know about that. Okay, thanks for watching this video. I'll catch you in the next one.